All right, so here what we're going to do is we're going to look at the domain and the range. So the domain is going to be the leftmost x value that you have, comma, the rightmost x value. And I like to think about this as you're going to create a cross and ask yourself, where do you hit the graph? So here for the domain, the one piece of my cross is going to be the x-axis. And then the other piece will be drawing vertical lines and asking myself, when do I hit the graph? So if I draw these vertical lines, the first vertical line where I hit my graph is at x equals -1. So my domain is going to start at -1. Now you'll notice that if it is an open circle, then you are going to use parentheses. And of course, if you have infinity, then you also use parentheses. Okay, so open circles use parentheses, infinities plus or minus use parentheses. Everything else is going to get a square bracket. So here at -1, I have a filled in circle. So I am including that number. So that is not an open circle. It's not an infinity. So it will be a square bracket. Now I continue marching along my x-axis, march along my x-axis, march along, and I go all the way out to infinity. And you will notice that at infinity, I do hit my graph. No, I don't hit my graph because very faintly here, there's a little open circle. And so because of that very, very small little open circle, I'm not going to hit my graph. I'm going to stop hitting my graph at x is equal to 3. Because at x equals 3, that's the last x value where I hit my graph. That's my rightmost x value because of this little open circle, which I barely saw, to be completely honest. So that little open circle means that our domain would stop at 3. And again, because it's an open circle, you'll be using parentheses around the 3. So again, the 3 is getting parentheses because of the open circle, and then the 1 is getting a square bracket because of the filled in circle. We're getting a square bracket. Now, for my range, what I'll do for the range is I'll start at my lowest y value, comma, my highest y value. And here's where I like to think about it as a cross again. So I think about my y-axis as the first piece of the cross, and then I'll be drawing a horizontal line to see where I hit the graph. And here I do hit the graph at -5 with that open circle. So the range is going to start at -5. And you'll notice because of the open circle, we need a parenthesis and then comma, and then we continue going up. We continue hitting the graph, hitting the graph, hitting the graph until this point here, which is x is equal or y is equal to 4. So at 4, we are going to stop hitting the graph. And again, there's no open circle, there's no infinity at 4, so we're going to put a square bracket to end the range. Now, the question of is the relation a function, that's going to be answered with the vertical line test. So that's where you draw your vertical lines. So again, we're talking about strategies here. The vertical line test, VLT, is you draw your vertical lines, and if you have one that intersects twice, then it is not a function. So here, when I draw my vertical lines, I do not have, again, if I draw vertical lines, it's only intersecting one time, so it is going to be a function. So yes, this relation is a function.